morning and happy Memorial Day to everyone. This is a special episode of the Ref Bump. This is episode 12. My name is Codd Sinclair, also known as Ryan Alvarez. Next to me today, as always, is Jeff the Hitman Hall. Guys, we are talking about something that happened May 1st, 2005. That is Backlash, a WWE pay-per-view taking place from the Verizon Wireless Arena in Manchester, New Hampshire. 2005, crazy year for WWE. We're kind of starting into this ruthless aggression era. This is also kind of the tail end of the reign of terror, courtesy of Triple H. Speaking of Triple H, the reign of terror, Jeff, what do you remember most about the reign of terror and just Triple H's time as champion or the top heel on Raw?
Okay, it was okay, it's not that it was terrible, because I mean anybody running roughshod over somebody, over the field forever is probably not a good idea. But it was like a John Cena-ish, but in a better way. At least you there's people that got behind Triple H, and you could get behind Triple H, and his wrestling was better. And no wrong, he's on a way another level than John Cena in the ring. But I'm just saying, it was on the level of John Cena. Maybe not to the heights, but yeah, it was. He was just running roughshod over everybody. Come one, come all, and no Trips was knocking him down.
Yeah, and the way he got the World Heavyweight Championship in the first place, at the start of this whole thing is, it's funny because they had, because this was the brand split and we needed a champion on Raw and
God, let me cut you off. Who did he beat?
Oh, you know what? That's a great question. Nobody at all. Eric Bischoff awarded him the World Heavyweight Championship, and this kind of started like this weird angle with Scott Steiner, which I reviewed the match on Quick Count between Steiner and Triple H at Royal Rumble 2003. That was his first feud coming out of being crowned the new World Heavyweight Champion. But it was a very weird time at the start of this. But now at the end of 2005, the brand split is in full effect. Because if I am not mistaken, this is a Raw exclusive pay-per-view. So no SmackDown stars on this one. So we're going to get right into it. We had a pre-show match. Oh gosh. We had Tyson Tomko go over Val Venus in 2005. This is right before Tomko would head off to NWA TNA to be a part of Christian's coalition, and Val Venus would continue to be a jobber. So leading off the main card, it is for the Intercontinental Championship. It is Shelton Benjamin defending against Chris Jericho. Jericho at this point, huge face, huge pop. Shelton's, getting his single run here. He was one of the unspoken stars, I think, of the entire Ruthless Aggression era.
Yeah, he's a guy that went under the radar. This match is really, really good. You have Jericho, and we always talk about this on the show. You go back and look at these shows, and just wrestling in general is not. Fans aren't how they used to be. Everybody's hot for this match. We'll get to the ending later, but when it happens, people actually pop. You're gonna have people that pop like one way or the other. Now it's kind of usually just one way, if you will. But yeah, Shelton Benjamin was good in it. It was great in this. He's a super athlete, though. He's a great wrestler, and it's par for the course for Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, this was back and forth. Both guys looked great. The finish of this match was super exciting. It was so back and forth. It ends up that Jericho is going for the walls. Shelton Benjamin reverses with a roll up and wins. Like I said, this was very back and forth the entire time. This is peak babyface Jericho. So I liked the fact after the match though that a little bit of pouty Jericho came out in the end saying that Shelton's shoulders were down. Yeah, I enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars out of 5. This is a great way to start the show. Like you said, the crowd was hot.
Yep.
It's kind of a slow burn, I think. But again, these guys are proven. They are both stars, and it's crazy to think this was 2005, and here we are sitting in 2021. All right, Jericho just had a match last night. Shelton Benjamin has a feud on Raw with Cedric Alexander. So, we're looking 16 years later, and these guys are still going.
Yeah. Again, great match. And another thing we also always talk about is the wrestling quality control / nuts and bolts. Were just way better back then. The way they do things, the way the fans react to it, I don't know. I guess now they've jumped the shark, and it's just when you've done it for so long and you make the rules, I guess you can do whatever you want when you want. And that's fair. But I don't know. If you watch this pay-per-view and shows back in this day, you still kind of almost what's going to happen, but you don't. There's a little bit of that. They might go the other way. I just miss watching stuff like that. But great match by these two.
Yeah, and it's funny. I draw the comparison to Jericho still, competing in 2021, and we just watched AEW Double or Nothing last night, and I would say the crowd hot for this match to start is about equivalent to how the opening match from last night between Hangman Adam Page and Brian Cage was like. Both were red hot, both were red invested. But yeah, great way to start the show. We kick it back to Jonathan Coachman. He's in the back with Edge. Him and Chris Benoit are going to have their last minute standing match later in the evening. This is Money in the Bank Edge. So we will see that the turn of the year would be New Year's Revolution, the Elimination Chamber, the infamous cash in. Spoiler alert. Sorry. But
it's only been out for a while.
Yeah, a little bit. But everybody wants to see Chris Benoit win essentially, but they won't be happy because Edge is going to be the last minute standing. You can bank on it. This was a short-lived kind of catchphrase that Edge was using around this time. Just watching some old promos and some old vignettes from him. He was using bank on it pretty heavily. Obviously Money in the Bank, but excellent. Now on to the tag team turmoil match for the World Tag Team Championship. I feel like it's kind of a staple now here on the Rough Bump that every show we have to review is a turmoil match or a fatal 4-way match or something of that nature.
Some weird tag team quadruple tag situation we have going
on. So the team's competing, and I'm going to do them in order as they come into the match. We have the Heartthrobs. That would be Antonio and Romeo. Very short-lived team here. I feel like that was another staple of the Ruthless Aggression era. Is that you had a lot of brand new faces that WWE was trying to cash in on, and a lot of them just didn't pan out. And I think the Heartthrobs were one of them.
Codd, I fancy myself a wrestling fan. These guys came out, and I was like, who? The Heartthrobs. I guess I must have missed that back in 2005, I guess.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. So yeah, the Heartthrobs are the first team in this match. The second team being Simon, Dean, and Maven. Forgot that was a thing there for a while.
I, I don't know what's worse, that I remember them. I remember those two schmucks and didn't remember. Well, Maven, I guess everybody remembers, but I remember those two schmucks and I didn't remember the Heartthrobs. I was confused.
Yeah. Team number 3 are the World Tag Team Champions at this time. Tajiri and William Regal. I thought this was an excellent tag team while going back to watch this. And, William Regal, I think, is one of the more underrated wrestlers in professional wrestling. Solid in-ring worker, could work with anyone. I love watching his match back in WCW when it was him and Goldberg.
You put the boots on him.
Yeah.
Also, he can be a heel and a face pretty good. I mean, he's obviously a better heel, but he can actually be like a funny baby face. A fan in the crowd had a Regal Tajiri best tag team ever signed that popped me really good.
Yeah, and you know what? Tajiri, I think, brutally underutilized in WWE. I think that goes without saying. But I mean, you go back and watch any of his ECW matches, and immediate star.
Well, I'd even argue wrong place, wrong time. Because if he was coming around now, man, he'd be $1 million. Yeah. Not that he wasn't back then, but just wrestling wasn't ready. Well, not that they weren't ready, but Western wrestling wasn't really they didn't know what the hell to do with Tajiri. But man, if he was coming through the ranks now, complete star.
Yeah. Team number 4 would be La Resistance. That'd be Rob Conway and Sylvain Grenier. And then finally, team number 5 would be Rosie and the Hurricane. Rosie is the superhero in training. Also, the abbreviation SHIT. Superhero in training. So we're gonna skip all of the So like I said, starting out, the Heartthrobs, and actually Regal and Tajiri start. I apologize. The Heartthrobs get eliminated in just over 3 minutes. Simon, Dean, and Maven are up next. Of course, a knee trembler, and then another one, and they are gone. Just under 3 minutes. Then we get La Resistance. This has been the feud here for a little bit. But Rob Conway rolls up William Regal, and they are eliminated. So we are guaranteed to have new champions, and I love that. I love in these multi-man matches where it's a turmoil or an elimination style that, the champions are not involved in the finish.
Yeah. Or like you said, or it gets presented to you early.
Yeah.
So you're like, I also think, Codd, it gets you invested as well. Mm-hmm. Like when it happens, you're like, oh, wow. Then you tend to get to the edge of your seat, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then the last team to come out, Hurricane and the superhero in training, Rosie, a pop, obviously. The Hurricane with a big splash off of Rosie's shoulders. They get the pin, the win. They are your new World Tag Team Champions. Man, what do you have for this match?
So, as much as we get on these things, I actually didn't think this one was that terrible. What do you think?
I thought that it was middle of the road.
Yeah. When I went to look at the card and I saw it on paper or on my laptop, I was like, oh boy, La Resistance. I just Heartthrobs. I was like, oh boy, this is either going to be hit or miss. And I knew it wasn't going to be a barn burner, but after watching it, and like you said before we started this match, looking at all the other tag team Texas Tornado, Follies and Lollies and everything else, this one was actually not awful. It was kind of done within the confines of the ring and everything kind of made sense. So it wasn't bad, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah. there wasn't anything particularly good about any of the individual like one-on-ones that we haven't already said, but as a whole match, I think I'd probably give it 2 stars out of 5.
That's where I was right. That's where I was at.
Um,
Which is saying a lot for this type of match.
Seriously, because there are so many things that could go wrong with a match like this, and I think the issue for me with a lot of these matches at times is everybody making sure they get their spot. Everybody making sure that they're not just out there to job.
Well, and also they weren't trying to beat you over the head as in like this is a 4-way, tag team. Like no, it's just guys doing wrestling, doing what they do. And there you go.
Yeah. So now on to the last man standing match. That would be Edge, Mr. Money in the Bank, taking on Chris Benoit. This was my match of the night.
Might as well.
Obviously, there were just so many. There were so many high spots in this match, but I want to start from the beginning. We get a lot of Matt Hardy references from the crowd to start. This is another peak time in Edge's run where we are. It has recently come out that Edge and Lita are a thing. This leads to Matt Hardy briefly being fired. I'm not sure at this point if all that has happened yet, as far as the whole return and the cage match and the no holds barred and all that. But it is well known by the crowd that Matt Hardy has been fired. Lita and Edge are a thing. So the crowd's definitely giving it to him.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of great action here. A lot of last man standing tropes. Like DDT and it's taking you to the count of 9 to use the ropes to crawl up to stand on your feet.
They're just laying the foundation for, just laying the foundation and let you know just in case you forgot.
Yeah. There were a lot of good weapon spots. The one is kind of towards the end. So, both men are up the ladder. Benoit with a release German off of the ladder.
Yeah.
Jesus. Both men are up. It just gets crazier from there, because at this point you can't really top a release German from the ladder and take a step back.
Well, I mean, unless you had like a brick to hit somebody with, that's probably the only way you could do it.
Yeah. Dang it. So we have Benoit in the cross. We have Edge in the crossface. He taps, but obviously last man standing, you're not tapping. Edge hits a DDT onto the briefcase. Benoit is still down, but he gets up at 9. Edge hits a spear. Benoit gets up again at 9. Spear again. He gets up again, and then Edge has a brick in the briefcase, hits Benoit on the head. He's out. God. I have this at 4 stars out of 5. I wanted to put it higher, and I almost put it a quarter to a half a star lower. This is obviously Chris Benoit's character. It's to keep taking the hits and keep getting up. But I thought towards the end it kind of got hokey a little bit. Too many hey, we're gonna hit you the finisher a couple times, and you're still gonna get up at 9. Um, I thought it was a good twist that we had Edge tap to the crossface. Um,
Oh, that was great. Actually, that was really, really good.
yeah, it's great heel. It's great heel work. Um, but yeah, I've got this at 4 stars out of 5. What did you think?
So, I thought I'm pretty much in the same vein. I thought it was a really good match with a mixture of actual wrestling and last man standing shenanigans and things of that nature. Because usually you tend to get them like one way or the other, where it's just all not skits and bits, but just wild scenarios where we're handcuffing people, we're trying to do all this stuff to be last standing. No, they actually still had a wrestling match within the confines of the last man standing match stipulations, and I think that's just a testament to Edge and Benoit, because those guys are great wrestlers. I'm with you. Toward the end, it probably went on a little, maybe 5 minutes too, not 5 minutes, but just a little too long, 2 or 3 minutes too long. And then it started getting too a little hokey. But at least I can say with the brick spot, that was it. If he'd have popped up after the brick spot, then my head would have blown off. But um, I mean, the brick spot and Benoit sold it. So I mean, I could, like you said, I could see what they were trying to do.
Mm,
Benoit is a man on a mission. He's a machine. He keeps getting up, and here comes this brick. And good night, Irene. That was it.
yeah. Um, we cut to the back. Lita's in the back with Kane, who has impregnated her.
Uh,
You know, Kane says he's taking out both Trish and Viscera. Strange comment from Lita talking about Viscera and Trish having intercourse. Kane says what I thought the whole time. It was disturbing.
the 2000s.
Yeah. Jerry Lawler now in the ring has the new Divas magazine. It's the swimsuit issue. So let's have Jerry Lawler involved. So they're calling this the Bimbo Brigade the entire time. So I will unfortunately be using that. Lillian, Victoria, Christy, Maria, Candace, Stacy, Chris Masters. Thank God. He has his cash on him. So it's a master lock challenge.
Boy, is it ever.
Yeah. He picks this really buff chick who we find out is Melissa Coates, in indie wrestler, just a Nicole Bass-esque.
Yeah.
He says she puts the man in Manchester. Ha ha. He calls her sir. Ha ha. He locks it in, which it's great heel work. I mean,
it is.
It would not fly in this day and age, but
no, and Jerry just can't help himself. Like he's just having a field day with this as well.
Oh God. Cut to Trish and Viscera. I'm just reading my notes. Viscera says when he goes and destroys Kane, it will be on like a steamy pot of neck bones.
Oh, okay.
He says it's a black thing.
Yeah, he's right. I mean, neck bones are. I mean, what can I say?
Oh my God. He gives Trish a nightie. He says he specializes in bed and breakfast. Oh, so let's get to this garbage fire. It is Viscera versus Kane. It's exactly that. Just nothing special here. So towards the end of this, Trish has a chair. Lita gets her with the crutch. Trish is out. Visser tries to kiss Lita. Big boot by Kane. Choke slam. That's it. Nothing really.
No, yeah, it's a nothing burger. It's nothing. More stuff happens after. It's more exciting after the match than it is the actual match.
Yeah.
I mean, not exciting, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I'm giving this 1 star out of 5. Just overall, it wasn't anything special, but it did its job.
Yeah, 1. And you got Viscera destroying Trish.
Yeah. Yeah. Trish in the ring calls her so pathetic. He's failed. She was never going to sleep with him. Um, uh, Something that would never fly in this day and age either. She calls him a fat, greasy, chicken-eating loser.
Yes. Yeah.
Trish says that she'll get a real man and take him out. He bear hugs her, splashes her, little pelvic thrust there at the end.
Sorry, I forgot about that.
All that good stuff. They stretch her out, neck brace and all. Here we go. We've got a tag team match featuring the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and Hulk Hogan taking on Muhammad Hassan and Davari. I'll let you start because I feel like this is all you.
Don't make me do this. So let me start with this. Muhammad Hassan is $1 million. And, unfortunately, due to the circumstances of our country and 9/11 and this, that, and the other, I guess we might have handled it wrong, but I understand why. So, they took him off TV, whatever. I feel sorry for the guy because he's just trying to make a living. He didn't do anything wrong. He actually doing everything right. So there's that. Davari's not bad, but he is great. And his heel work is great. His wrestling is really good. His promos are really good. He's just an all-around star. And for where he's at in this role, and he's taking on Hulk Hogan, he's taking on Shawn Michaels that nobody cares about. But this was, it's not that it was great, but the work that those guys did was great.
Yeah.
And for Hogan, I'm a Hogan guy. And I guess it shows the age group of where people are at now and some of the stuff he's done and said, and that's fair. But when he came out, just all the pop in the world, the fans are eating it up. It's Hulk, MF, and Hogan. And that's just, it's $1 million. Shawn Michaels seems to me like he doesn't not like having, he's used to being the guy. But guess what? When you stand up next to Hulk Hogan, you're Robin in this one, Shawn Michaels. Mm-hmm. You're not Batman. And I don't think he can handle it. And we'll probably get to this on another pay-per-view later down the road. But
because we're going to cover it.
Yeah. So he's just really over the top and hokey and wanting to get in on the action. And I don't know. I people know how I feel about Shawn Michaels, but he just seemed like a not whiny baby, but I'm going to do whatever I want and act all weird because Hogan didn't do anything. Hogan was being Hogan. Yeah. He didn't do anything out of his character. Shawn Michaels is the one out there looking like a wahoo doing stuff out of his character. The match was the match. It was what it was.
Yeah.
But to be fair, people were hot and people were behind it. What do you say, Codd?
So I want to get to the hot tag at the end of the match. Hot tag to Davari, hot tag to Hogan. Obviously Hogan, is doing his Hogan, run through with his hot tag. He comes off of the ropes, steel pipe shot. So that means Davari covers 1-2. No, Hulk's up. It's a you
as well as he should.
Off the ropes boot. Hassan stops the leg drop. Hogan nails him. Super kick by HBK. Hogan covers him. That is it. You are absolutely right, though, about everything. Muhammad Hassan is $1 million. That's one I want to cover here down the road eventually. The burial. But as far as this match goes, I'm going to give it 2.5 stars out of 5. That is as high as I can get it.
Yeah.
Muhammad Hassan works well with both with Hogan and Shawn Michaels. Crowd is red hot for everything that Hogan's doing. This match did its job.
Yep. But I'm gonna give it 2 stars. I actually thought the ending sequence was really good with the block boot and then the super kick. As much as I'm not a Shawn Michaels guy, I think that was actually a good twist. And again, you're right, Muhammad Hassan. I was actually more impressed with him working with Hogan than Michaels, because Michaels can work his butt off. So there's that. I wasn't surprised about that. But just being able to work with Hulk Hogan in that age and still kind of be able to, because it's Hogan at that age. You still got to take care of him and make sure whatever. And Hassan was up for it, and he's perfect. He's really good.
Yeah. After we get a 5-minute post-match pose, ECW One Night Stand 2005 commercial voiced over by Paul E. himself. We get a promo backstage from Triple H. We get a useless segment from Christian. I really didn't know what to make about this. I know it was a jab at Cena, but it was also just very useless.
I'm with you. I actually had to rewind it like another. Well, not rewind it, but like I had to like go through at the pay-per-view at the end and make sure like I didn't miss anything, because I didn't understand not what he was talking about, but I don't know. It just seemed like odd and thrown in there, like oddly. Hey, we need to. Oh, don't forget to give Christian this 5 minutes. Like, well, 5 minutes for what?
Yeah. Yeah. So, essentially, he's just really upset he wasn't on the card. Takes target, John Cena, all that good stuff. Then we get our main event. That would be the World Heavyweight Championship match. That'd be between current champion Batista and Triple H. Already went into the Reign of Terror and all that stuff. This was an average match from them. And that is the best I can describe this as. A typical World Heavyweight Championship match from Triple H during this time. This is a point in time when he was very cookie cutter, I want to say, in the way he moves in the ring, spot for spot. But I think Batista at the right time was the right foil for Triple H, especially coming, out of breaking away from Evolution, winning the title at Mania. What do you remember? Do you remember anything from this match?
No.
Okay, so that's my point with this match, and I'm not saying this to crap on this match because the match itself was fine. It was a good match. Okay. I gave this 3 stars out of 5. It was a slightly above average World Heavyweight Championship match. So, the finish essentially, we get a couple of ref bumps, and then by the time we get to the end, low blow by Triple H. He's doing the 10 punches in the corner.
Flair takes a bump.
Yep. Flair's always taking bumps. And then Batista's got him. Power bomb, gets the win. At this point, seeing Triple H for the last 2 to 3 years, the same song and dance is a bit disappointing, because the beginning of the 2000s, he was red hot as a heel. And then I know he came back briefly as a face in 2002. And then obviously the Reign of Terror, we've already talked about it. but this was average. And I know it sounds like I'm really crapping on this match, but there really wasn't anything special about it.
No, but I don't think you're wrong. Listen, when you look at a catalog of matches between said people, 4 and 5, 6 matches, obviously one of them or two of them, they're not all going to be equal. There's going to be, if you had to rank them, there's going to be a hierarchy of, I put this 1, I put this 2, I put this 3, I put this 7.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, Codd. This wasn't really anything special to write home about. It was just your run of the mill match. And to piggyback off the Reign of Terror too, unlike actual John Cena, the build up to a lot and almost most of Triple H's feuds in the Reign of Terror were really, 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 really good. So it wasn't like you were getting like Cena style, as in the sense of like by the time you got to it, you're like, oh well, who cares? Because Cena's going to win. Whatever. But all the stuff building up to Tripp's matches was just really good and gold. So, so you had a little bit of hope thinking, because like all the promo work, everything getting up to this thing is good. But this match was, I had 3 stars. I don't do half. So I don't know. If I was going to do 2.5, I'd probably just go to 3. Because again, it wasn't bad at all. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head when you said cookie cutter Triple H, because he did kind of go from like cookie cutter, like let me get my spots in, or not get my spots, but get my staples in, and then we'll go from there. But then he got out of that though, and kind of got some new stuff in his repertoire, and kind of really really turned himself into his who he is now. But yeah, I mean, again, just a run of the mill match. Batista looked good, but yeah, nothing to write home about.
Yeah. And just to kind of cap off the entire show, that's the best way you can describe this, is average. Overall, I gave it 3.25 stars out of 5 for the entire show. I couldn't get it to 3.5. I enjoyed the opener between Jericho and Shelton. I thoroughly enjoyed the Last Man Standing match, but everything else was either average or below average. And even the World Heavyweight Championship match, you've been building for this for a while, and even if you knew Triple H wasn't going to win, we could have thrown another wrinkle in it. But
it just didn't have any big fight feel.
Yeah.
It didn't really have any main event feel. Like it looked like just a regular match they would have on SmackDown. I think that's probably the problem. And again, not that you need to make it a like first blood match or a false count anywhere. No, I don't think you did. I think the two didn't. But I think both guys just needed to raise their level a little bit to have a better match. I know we sound like we're sitting up on our high horse, but I mean, these two guys can give you what you really need, when you need it.
Yeah, exactly. So with that being said, guys, that is another episode of the Ref Bump already. Definitely appreciate you checking it out. If you're not watching it today on Memorial Day because you're, spending time with family, hanging out, enjoy yourselves, all right, come back and watch this. And while you're here, check out all of our other good stuff we have going on the YouTube. We have a new Creative Control that's coming out here very soon. Ryan Alvarez just pumping them out at this point.
Absolutely.
Cookie cutter, just bop, 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 just, assembly line in that thing.
Machine.
Guys, when you catch us next time, okay, we will be off for next week, okay? But in 2 weeks' time, we will be reviewing WWE Bad Blood 2003. That is the June pay-per-view that got moved from September and October. So we will be taking a look at that for next time. But guys, stay safe out there. My name is Codd Sinclair. That's Jeff the Hitman Hall. We will see you next time.